Hey, welcome everyone to another episode of Age Interrupted. I'm your host, Jill White, coming to you live from my RV. No, that brings up a really good thing I wanted to talk about today. I can remember when we were living in our house. And we actually moved a lot even back then. I think I've just been a nomad at heart. I say I'm a nomad at heart because even when I was in apartments, I would often change apartments after every lease. Definitely not more than two. Or when I had a house, it kind of gave me an itch to like be and have a mortgage and like be stuck. I felt like I was stuck in something. Instead of maybe some people have safety in that, it kind of made me feel stuck. But when my point being with that is that we would go from different size place to different size place. And so some places we had plenty of space and we could put things where we wanted it, all of our stuff. And then in some places, if we had a little bit smaller home, then we had to like organize things, organize stuff, or buy organizers, some bins and some totes, and maybe like makeup organizers, soap caddies, right? To try to make all of our stuff look nice. We were like trying to fix our stuff. And all the while I'm buying new stuff just to stack back in the closet. And I wasn't really changing anything. I wouldn't clean anything out or get rid of anything. I would just put it in a new pile. Um, and it reminds me of a quote that I read recently in a book by Russell Brunson that our goal is not to fix what's not working. Our goal is to replace what's not working with something altogether, right? Something brand new. So I shouldn't just keep trying to like move things around and fix my problem. I should have just gotten rid of the things that I didn't need, that I didn't use. And if I think about that from a fitness and health aspect, we have to consider they are a lifelong journey, not a 28-day challenge or a 6-week ab blast. So when we're trying to make changes, we have to do the things that we can be consistent with that make us feel better, right? It's not about killing ourselves in the gym 6 days a week for 2 hours a day, maybe twice a day, because that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for any of us. Even top athletes only do that for a time. And so when we're looking to make these changes that we can be consistent with, we want to consider replacing bad habits that don't serve us with new habits, different habits. So replacing what's broken completely with something new, these new different habits. Some people call that even habit stacking, and they start getting new habits and they get one new habit, they go to sleep on time with another new habit of drinking plenty of water, and they stack those habits. So that brings me to the debut of my 5-step proprietary system called Frameworks. So I created this to ditch the diet cycling, the yo-yoing, the being food obsessed, or maybe worse, not caring at all about what you put into your body, all of that, like let it go. So through this podcast, I'm educating also through social media, my online coaching business, and I'm getting the word out there that life doesn't have to be mediocre. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be boring. So like I mentioned in episode 2, we all have such great potential. All of mankind, but especially us women, we multitask better than anyone else. Granted, there's argument for the fact that no one multitasks well, but definitely we handle work, we handle family, we handle appointments, we handle groceries, we handle laundry, we handle so much. And we have so much more potential. We could take that energy to do such great things. And sometimes we get lost in those weeds of life. So by learning and applying my framework system, you will live your best life ever. You will be fit, you will be confident, you will have energy, you'll be in a great mood, you'll have your health. Best of all, you get to eat all your favorite foods without guilt. So like I said, this is really the debut of my proprietary system. And today I teased this podcast episode when I went and did hydro massage earlier at the gym. You see, going back to habits, one of the habits we want to adopt, if we haven't already, is recovery. So that is the R in my framework system. So particularly as we get older, we want to focus on recovery, but honestly, everyone needs to recover. My ex-husband played collegiate football. And even at the age of 21, 22, they had recovery built into their game weeks, whether it be massages, cold plunges, even going to see a chiropractor. But unfortunately, it's one of the first things that can often get nixed, on the chopping board when our schedule gets tight. And because of this, it's just a shame because we all have to recover, right? But we see it as optional or unnecessary when it's really not. It's actually very important. And that brings me back to the hydro massage this morning. I had been going through this program, right? Doing exercises that I'm not used to doing. And my body started talking to me, and my back in particular started talking to me. And I haven't really covered it before, but I have had multiple back injuries. In 2016, I slipped a disc and had a small tear in one of my lumbar discs. And then again in 2022, I slipped two additional discs, both of which left me bedridden for months. And at the time, during the acute phase, couldn't even get out of bed. I guess that's what bedridden means, but I couldn't walk. I couldn't lift myself off of the bed, nothing. And so when my back starts to talk to me, I have to listen. And sometimes, we have to be thankful for pain, right? That's what it's there for. So we listen to our bodies. And so this morning, I did not pass go, did not collect $200 before going to the hydro massage chair at my gym and getting that time in, because it really does. And I've known that it's made my back feel a lot better because I used to see a chiropractor regularly before we moved away from our home base. And I love my chiropractor. I actually worked for my chiropractor 20 plus years ago before pharmacy school. But I've been seeing him off and on, mostly on in the past decade ever since. And honestly, I never made it past like a 3-week checkup. And then I'd have to come back because I would do something and see in 1 week, see in 2 weeks, see in 1 week, see in 2 weeks, right? So the fact that I have not been to the chiropractor since March, and it's June, 3 months. Yeah, I counted that right. Is a testament to recovery and to massage/hydro massage, because it is really unheard of. So all that being said, is we really have to retrain our brain to see recovery as a necessity for our health and our fitness. So let's talk about it. What does recovery look like? What is recovery? As with a lot of things, and what can kind of be annoying sometimes, is that it depends. It depends on what you're recovering from to some extent. But to give the short answer here, we can start with the universal important recovery tool, which is sleep. It's a no-brainer, and literally there's zero debate about it. We need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night to let our bodies heal, to recover from our day, to let all the processes happen that need to happen to feel refreshed and energized the next day. Another form of recovery that I just talked about would be massage. And while I'm specifically talking about the hydro massage, I would definitely prefer a massage by an actual person. And speaking of that, I really do need to quit saying I need to get one and actually schedule and get one. So hold me accountable. I'll check back in if I have gotten a hydro massage, a real massage. Speaking of which, I owe you some answers from our previous episode as well about what happened, because I do want to be held accountable, as we all should. So I'm going to let you know how yesterday's episode played out. Other forms of recovery can be infrared sauna, Epsom salt soaks. And here's one that you might not think of, but not eating sugar. It's a bizarre connection to recovery. but our bodies just don't thrive. I know I'm preaching to the choir and you don't need me to tell you, but our bodies don't thrive or function well on sugar. It's really a poison. And along that train of thought, and even as a pharmacist, I'm actually not really that into supplements anymore. I'm kind of evolved from that time in my life where I just supplemented for everything. But I do think turmeric or curcumin do have a place in our recovery toolbox. So to speak about what I am checking in for from yesterday, because really that's all I wanted to say about recovery here right now. It, other than the fact that, like I said, it is part of my frameworks system. It's the R in frameworks. And so it's kind of funny that I skipped F to jump right into R, but like I mentioned, had went to do the hydro massage today and I teased it on social media a little bit. So I had to go ahead and spill the beans. And you're going to see that everything in my signature coaching program and everything that I do is really going to revolve around this theme of frameworks. And that is how we are going to make a difference in our physique and in our life. But so yesterday I had passed my certified personal training exam, and I talked about how in our society we are just known to celebrate with food, right? Like, let's go out to eat, let's celebrate. Like, that's just what we do. And how, unfortunately or fortunately, I am on my brand new program. And anytime you start a new program, you need to not get off program for 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks, see how everything is going for you, see how the programming is going for you. And then after that, you have a baseline. And as things come up, you can sub, you can have your free meals, etc. But you know what the base program does for you. So I have to be very specific and particular about doing what I say, practicing what I preach, and not going off plan, even for a celebration of passing my CPT. So we did end up going out to eat and celebrating. And part of it's just celebrating because that I don't have to worry about dinner. So it's like a double win-win for me. But I did choose at a restaurant where every time until yesterday that we've eaten there, I chose the big giant potato with shredded barbecue brisket and butter and cheese and more butter and some sour cream and some more butter. And so instead of that yesterday, I made the good choice and actually had grilled chicken and green beans, even though those are two things I definitely make at home all the time. Actually had green beans that I made for lunch today also. And then for my carbohydrate, they didn't have rice. And so that would have been my preferred source. But I can even have bread on my program, the right quantity. So I did make a sub for better or for worse. And I just had about half a cup of white beans. So, it was a sub, but it was a small amount of carbohydrate, and it was beans. It was natural. There was no fat added to it or meat, no protein added to it. So I felt okay with that because in the end, it is life. Now, if you're in my coaching program, don't be subbing for those 2 weeks, okay? I'm gonna need you to stick with what I programmed for you. But anyways, to wrap all of this up, that's really was my take homes for today, because I'll be back tomorrow with more. But I just want to leave you with this thought. If whatever you're doing isn't working for you, you need to replace it. Holding on to something broken doesn't make it work any better. Cut the loss and move on. Whether it be old habits holding us back or something else. Right? We don't want to fix things that are broken. We want to replace them with something entirely different. And it wasn't meant to be a place where I talk to you about my program, but if you are looking for a transformation, a new physique, I do have, at the time of this recording, a beta program that is launching soon. That is my 5-step system. It is one-on-one coaching with me. And so definitely reach out to me at ageinterruptedfitness@gmail.com, or find me on Facebook at Age Interrupted, or on Instagram at age_interrupted. Obviously, I'm here on YouTube and Spotify. So be sure to subscribe, follow, like, comment if there is a place for you to comment. Give me a rating. I would love it as we grow together and really just make a difference one life at a time. So until tomorrow, I hope you all have a wonderful day and stay strong.